Layoffs, automation, restructuring. It feels like every other headline is about AI coming for our jobs. But you know what? The story you're hearing in the news might not be the real story at all. So let's dive into this and figure out what's actually going on behind all those scary headlines.
First things first, let's just look at the raw numbers, because they are staggering. In just the first 9 months of 2025, companies announced over 946,000 job cuts. That's a 55% jump from the year before. I mean, that's the highest number we've seen since 2020. And with a number that big, you have to wonder, is this it? Is this the moment we've all been warned about? Is this the great AI replacement in action? It's a really simple question, and honestly, when you see those headlines, it is so easy to point the finger directly at artificial intelligence. And this, of course, feeds right into the narrative you've probably heard a million times by now. We can call it the AI layoff scare. The idea is pretty simple. You've got this intense economic pressure on one side, a crazy powerful technological revolution on the other, and caught right in the middle are companies that feel like they have to make some drastic cuts. So the story goes something like this. Companies are feeling the squeeze from a tough economy. They look over and see these powerful new AI tools, and they think, aha, golden opportunity, a chance to streamline, slash costs, and yeah, replace human workers, especially those in entry-level or repetitive jobs. It's a really neat and tidy explanation, right? But is it the truth? Is that what's actually happening on the ground? Well, as it turns out, the reality is way more complex and, frankly, a lot more interesting. See, to understand what's really driving all these layoff announcements, we need to pull back the curtain a little bit. And when we do, we find this phenomenon that some people have started calling AI washing. So what in the world is AI washing? Well, you can see it right there. It's when a company blames layoffs on their shiny new AI strategy, mostly to make their investors happy, when the real reason is often something much more, well, boring. Like business isn't doing so great, or they have a bloated management structure. It's a futuristic excuse for a classic business problem. Now, this is where it gets really telling. Just look at the contrast here. The official story is all about innovation and efficiency. We're streamlining with AI. But the real reasons, well, they're often much simpler. Business is struggling, there are way too many layers of middle management, and honestly, Wall Street just loves to hear the letters A and I. Announcing AI-driven cuts can be enough to give your stock a nice little bump. And man, this quote just nails the kind of pressure cooker these executives are in. Almost 80% of CEOs feel like their job is on the line if they can't prove they're all in on AI. This creates this huge incentive to tell a great AI story, even if the actual implementation is, just using it to write some emails.
So here's the crucial thing to remember. Actually swapping out entire teams of people for an AI is not like flipping a switch. It is incredibly hard, it's super expensive, and it takes a really long time. The evidence for this happening on a massive scale for white-collar jobs, it just isn't there yet. The immediate threat isn't what you think it is. The real dangers? They're a lot sneakier and lurking just beneath the surface. So, okay, if the real danger isn't mass replacement tomorrow, then what is it? Well, the first and maybe the most insidious problem is what AI is doing to the very way we create experts in the first place. For centuries, pretty much forever, skills have been passed down through a really simple, effective model: apprenticeship. You have a novice, a rookie, working right next to an expert. They learn by doing real work. And over time, that novice gets the experience they need to become the next expert, and the cycle continues. But here's the problem. As this quote says, we are aggressively breaking that critical relationship. Just think about it. If an expert, armed with a powerful AI tool, can do their work 3 times faster all by themselves, what's the incentive to slow down and teach the junior employee? And this isn't just a theory. Look at robotic surgery. Before, a junior surgeon was deeply involved for hours learning the ropes. Now, with technology making the experts so efficient, that hands-on learning time has been slashed to just 10 or 15 minutes. We're seeing this exact same pattern pop up with AI in fields like law and consulting. And you know what? Companies are already feeling the heat. A huge majority, 63% of employers, are already bracing for skills gaps in the future. They can see that the pipeline that creates new talent is starting to break down. And to make it even worse, a lot of employers also expect the pool of available talent itself to shrink by 2030. So you get this dangerous feedback loop. Fewer experts are around to train even fewer novices. And if this keeps up, it doesn't just create a skills crisis, it creates a major economic one.
So let's follow that thought. If we break the skills pipeline, and more work does eventually get automated, we run smack into a fundamental economic paradox: the empty-handed consumer.
I mean, really think about it. If millions of people are out of a job or their wages are stuck because their labor just isn't as valuable anymore, they don't have any buying power. So who is going to buy all the products and services that these hyper-efficient, automated companies are churning out?
It sounds like a complete dead end, right? But there's actually a business model that is already thriving in this exact kind of environment. And funny enough, you can find it in the world of video games. It's the freemium model, and it's fascinating. Most people play the game for free. They are essentially the audience. But a tiny fraction of players, the ones they call whales, spend thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. They provide almost all the revenue, and the free players basically exist just to keep those big spenders engaged. The entire economy is built to serve a very small number of super valuable customers. Now, before you dismiss this as just a game, just look at the real world. This whale economy is already happening. Lamborghini has sold more cars in the last decade than in its entire history before that. The market for private jets, mega yachts, and all sorts of extreme luxury goods is booming, catering to that tiny fraction of ultra-high-value consumers. So, when you look at a looming skills crisis on one hand and the potential collapse of the consumer economy on the other, it becomes really clear that we can't just let this happen by default. We have to be active. We have to actually think about rebuilding the future of work. Okay, so let's put it all together. First, the immediate threat isn't AI coming to steal your job tomorrow morning. The real dangers are the long-term ones we've been talking about, that broken skills pipeline and a hollowed-out consumer base. To fix this, companies have to intentionally redesign how work gets done to make sure novices can still learn in a world with AI. And for us, as individuals, the most critical skill is going to be the meta skill of just learning how to learn so we can keep adapting. Because here's the bottom line. More automation is coming. That is certain. That train has already left the station. But a future that still values human skill, human growth, and prosperity for everyone, that's not a given. That has to be built intentionally. Which leaves us all with one final question: who's going to build it?